This Carl Frampton Scott Quigg situation is interesting because Barry McGuigan, who is, I guess, Carl Frampton's handler, he says that he wants the fight to be on ITV, which is terrestrial television, or what you would call network television in the United States. His fighter, Carl Frampton, fought on ITV, terrestrial television, just this Saturday against Chris Avalos. Obviously, I'm pretty sure it did very good viewing figures being terrestrial television. And Barry McGuigan wants to try and bring boxing back to ITV long term with Carl Frampton. And he says that he's willing to take, or Frampton basically is willing to take a pay cut to have the fight on ITV. So he's basically admitting that ITV is not going to pay the same kind of money as pay-per-view would pay on Sky if the fight was on Sky with Eddie Hearn. I mean, you know, I say with Eddie Hearn, it's obviously going to be, I'm assuming it's going to be some type of joint promotion, whichever television network it takes place on. It'll be a joint promotion between the McGuigans and Eddie Hearn. But Hearn obviously has a contract with Sky, but apparently, at least according to McGuigan, from what I heard at the post-fight press conference after the Avalos fight, Quigg is on a fight-by-fight basis situation with Sky. He doesn't have a long-term contract with them, but Eddie Hearn does. So I'm sure Sky would be very unhappy if Eddie Hearn was unable to get the fight between Carl Frampton and Scott Quigg on Sky. I think they'd be very unhappy about that, because that's, to them, one of their pay-per-view events that they're looking at. They want that to be a pay-per-view event. If Eddie Hearn wasn't able to get that and it was to go to ITV, that would be direct competition for Sky. That's going to suck a lot of their viewership away. That's going to make people hate the pay-per-view model even more because they just saw a big fight on terrestrial television. That's going to make Sky very, 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 very leery and very, very wary. So I don't think it's just a case of Eddie Hearn wanting pay-per-view, although, you know, Barry McGuigan says Eddie Hearn needs to stop being greedy and think about the sport in general rather than just thinking about his own bank balance. I mean, yeah, I'm not saying Eddie Hearn don't like money. I'm not saying he personally don't like the pay-per-view model because it brings in more money. But at the same time, I'd be amazed if there isn't a lot of pressure on him to deliver pay-per-view for Sky. He's got paymasters at the end of the day. He has to meet up with Sky. He doesn't just put these pay-per-views on himself. He has to meet up with Sky and whatnot. So, yeah. And because of that, I'll be surprised if this fight actually happens. I'll be very surprised. What McGuigan is saying, in the fact that him or Frampton's willing to take a pay cut to get this fight on, he's basically saying that, I mean, I'm not sure what McGuigan's relationship is like with Sky because he obviously left Sky now, and I guess he's not on Box Nation at the moment with Frampton, but nonetheless, McGuigan is basically saying, look, we're not going to make as much money on ITV as we would on Sky Box Office, but in the long term, our fighters can make more money if they're fighting on ITV because of sponsorships and all that kind of stuff. Because terrestrial television is going to make you a bigger name outside of boxing. It's going to make you a household name. And once you become a household name, you can make a lot of money away from boxing with sponsorships, endorsements, all types of different advertising deals and stuff like that. That's where you can make real money. So that's what Barry McGuigan's looking at. And obviously, as a boxing fan, I want boxing to be as big as possible. I want as much people to watch it, as much people to enjoy it, because the more people enjoy it, the more people watch it, the more fighters and the more young kids are going to get involved, and we're going to see more talent coming through. So obviously, I would definitely like, not just because of the fact that boxing is free to watch on terrestrial television, but also it benefits boxing as a whole. So I would definitely like it to stay on ITV like McGuigan is aiming for, and stay there long term. So yeah, I don't know whether this fight's gonna happen though. I doubt Sky and Eddie Hearn are gonna budge. I don't know how pliable McGuigan is. If they flash enough money in front of McGuigan's face, maybe he will agreed to have the Frampton Quigg fight on Sky. But I don't know. I'm not sure. You let me know what you think in the comment section below. Let me know how you feel about McGuigan's position. Let me know how you feel about Eddie Hearn's position. Some people are saying that McGuigan is very arrogant and that Carl Frampton is very arrogant. They say that he was disrespectful in the way that he talked to, or he talked about Scott Quigg in front of his face while Quigg was in the ring. Basically saying that Quigg is not a real champion, that Carl Frampton's the money man, that he has all the fans, that Quigg don't really have any fans. He was saying all this kind of stuff, and there's definitely a swagger within the Carl Frampton camp. There's no question about that. There's definitely a swagger. Arrogance, yeah, I could say, I can see what people are saying when they say it's arrogant. All right, I'm not going to try and argue that point. But whatever the case may be, I still have to side with the McGuigans on this. Not because of, you know, them saying that Scott Quigg is not a champion or whatever. I'm not trying to get into that in this particular video. Just for the fact that I want boxing back on terrestrial television. And that's what the McGuigans are pushing. So regardless what their hidden agenda is, if they even have one, I have to go with that. You know. But if you agree or disagree, drop your comments in the comment section below. It's all good. It's your boy Hatman. I'm out.